This is Lesson 2, Performing Calculations on page 43.
The true power of Microsoft Office Excel lies in its ability to help you analyze your organizational data. Excel contains an incredible array of functionality to help you do this, particularly when it comes to working with numerical data. In order to take full advantage of Excel's abilities to quickly, efficiently, and accurately calculate data, you must first understand how Excel thinks and how to tell it what to do. In this lesson, you'll do just that. In this lesson, you will create worksheet formulas, insert functions, and reuse formulas and functions. So topic A on page 56 is creating worksheet formulas.
Page 44.
Imagine trying to maintain a spreadsheet that contains important financial figures that constantly change. Every time a single value changes, you might have to change entire rows or columns of data. Keeping up with such calculations manually is not only impractical and tedious, but it is also unnecessary and in some cases nearly impossible. Why not have Excel do it for you? Performing calculations is one of the most critical, foundational tasks in Excel, forming the basis for nearly all of the data analysis you'll need to perform. By gaining a solid, clear understanding of how Excel performs such calculations, you'll save yourself valuable time, avoid a ton of headaches, and ensure a level of accuracy not possible when performing the same calculations on your own. Excel formulas perform simple or complex mathematical computations in worksheets. You can use formulas to perform tasks such as adding up a row or a column of numbers, multiplying sales figures by commission rates, and applying tax to sales. It's important to remember that in Excel, what you see isn't necessarily what you get. When you enter a formula into a worksheet cell, by default, Excel will display the result of calculating the formula in the cell and not the formula itself. Excel can perform calculations by using fixed numbers or by referring to values in other cells. You can enter Excel formulas directly into worksheet cells, or you can also use what we learned as our formula bar. To the left of the formula bar text box are buttons that provide supplementary options. The X is your cancel button. This is displayed only when a cell is in edit mode or enter mode. Selecting the cancel button will undo any changes you have made to a cell since selecting it and will keep that cell active. So if I started typing my first name in here, I haven't committed that yet. If I hit cancel, it wipes it clean. If I was to start typing my name and hit the check mark to the right of that, this is the enter button. It's the same as hitting enter or control enter on your keyboard. It enters the information into that cell, but it keeps that cell selected. And that's the same as hitting control enter. Just hitting the enter key will enter the data and move your selection to the cell underneath it. Holding down your control key on your keyboard and pressing enter, again, enters the data but keeps that cell selected. So that check mark is the same as control and enter. And then the third button, this is our insert function button. This button opens the insert function dialog box, providing you with access to a wide variety of pre-existing Excel formulas. So we will get to our insert function dialog box in just a few minutes. The number one rule when you're working with Excel formulas, functions, whichever, you have to remember all formulas begin with an equal sign. Again, all formulas begin with an equal sign. A third time, all formulas begin with an equal sign. If you're performing a calculation, that's the first thing you want to enter into the cell right off the bat. And then you can figure out the layout of your formula afterwards. So, just as an example, now this is a very simplified example. This is not using a function. This is just a regular formula, if I wanted to find the total of Andy's sales quarters here, again, start with an equal sign. Now, I want to enter these 4 quarters. I want to add these 4 quarters together. So I could do B2. You can see when I select it, it enters the cell reference right after the equal sign. Then I can type my plus symbol. I can type in C2. Look at how the colors are matching up for the cell references. Blue of cell B2 matches with the cell reference in the formula of B2. C2 matches with the red. So a good way to verify that you're selecting the correct cell. Add the plus sign again. You can graphically select. Just click on it once. It's going to enter the cell reference, D2, for you into the formula. Another plus sign. Click on E2 for quarter 4 of Andy. That one's shown in green. And then when I press enter here, it's going to calculate that formula for me and give me the result. So enter. Andy's total sales, $147,579. Okay? Now, there's different types of elements that you can have in formulas. Again, you have your equal sign. This defines cell content as a formula. The equal sign tells Excel to perform a calculation based on whatever components you have after the equal sign. It might be a formula, might be a function, but it will be performing some type of calculation. Then you have what we call constants. These are numbers and text that do not change unless manually altered. So maybe, just let me pick a random cell here. I had equals 100 plus cell B2, which is Andy's quarter 1. The 100 is considered a constant. That's a value that is not going to change no matter what. B2 is what we call a reference or cell reference. This is essentially a variable in Excel formulas. When you include a reference to a cell or range, Excel uses the value from that cell or range to perform the calculation. But what happens when I take this result, 100 plus B2 gets the result 32,100. But what if I realized I made a mistake in Andy's sales of quarter 1? It's actually 35,000. When I update cell B2, and hit enter here, since this has a cell reference reverting back to B2, once I update this, it automatically is going to update this as well. You can see that changed to 35,100. Undo it, 32,000. So whatever cell is feeding into another calculation, if that cell changes, what it's being fed into, what calculation it's being fed into, will automatically update for you. And that is one of the powerful features about Excel. And the fourth type of component that you might see or that you will see in a formula is a mathematical operator. And these are symbols that specify the kind of calculation that Excel should perform. So here we have our plus sign. So that is telling Excel that it needs to perform addition. And our other mathematical operators are listed at the top of page 59. First, you have parentheses. This groups a set of constants, references, and operators into a single value within a formula. Parentheses are very important when we talk about order of operations. Then you have what we call a caret, and this is, you see that little upward triangle? That indicates an exponent. So if we had equals 2 caret 2, that means 2 squared, which we know is 4. If we had equals 2 to 2 cubed, or 2 to the third power, we call that 2 cubed. What that is in exponents, that's 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8. All right, so those carets indicate exponents. Then we have the asterisk, which is the little star. We had equals 2 asterisk 3, that indicates multiplication. So 2 times 3 will give you the results of 6. Then we have the forward slash. We have equal 10 forward slash 2. This indicates division. So 10 divided by 2 gives us a result of 5. We know our plus sign, as we saw here, indicates addition. And then we have our minus sign, equals. Let's say K13, minus sign, K14. So that's going to be 6 minus 5 equals 1. Okay, so those are all our common mathematical operators. Parentheses, caret, the asterisk, forward slash, plus sign, and the minus sign. Now we talk about the lovely order of operations. Excel gives precedence to certain mathematical operators over others. This is how Excel determines which operations to perform first, second, third, and so on in a complex formula. It is important that you understand how Excel will compute a formula before you create one to ensure that Excel will perform the calculation exactly as you want it to. The following is the order of operations from first to last. First you have parentheses. Then you have exponents. Then in your third level, you have multiplication and division. And then you have addition and subtraction. It's important to understand that in some cases, Excel also reads formulas from left to right. So if 2 or more operators fall in the same order of precedence, such as in a formula with both the addition and the subtraction operators, Excel will perform the leftmost calculation first. An easy way that we were taught to remember the order of operations. So we have parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition, and subtraction. So the first letter of all those words, P-E-M-D-A-S. P-E-M-D-A-S. PEMDAS. Might turn on a little light bulb for you. I'm sure you remember hearing about PEMDAS. And if you can't remember PEMDAS, another acronym, little cute way to remember it. I learned this in 2nd grade. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this. Using the letters again, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So again, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So to look at a very simple example of what the order of operations can do. If I have equals, and in parentheses I have 2 plus 4, close my parentheses. Whenever you have an opening parentheses, you have to close it somewhere. Then I have my forward slash 2. What this is saying, think of your order of operations. You always start with parentheses. So do what's in the parentheses first. What is 2 plus 4? 2 plus 4 is 6. You take 6 and then you divide that by 2. So 6 divided by 2 would give you the result of 3. Now, if I have the same numbers, but I just take those parentheses out, it makes a big difference and it gives you a different result. So if I have equals 2 plus 4 divided by 2, no parentheses this time. So for my order of operations, parentheses, we have none of that. Exponents, we have none of that. Multiplication and division. If I start from left and move right, I do have division here. which is 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So now we're left with the calculation 2 plus 2. That gives us a result of 4. So just having those parentheses in there, you see, it's the same operators, it's the same exact numbers. All that's missing in the second example is those parentheses, but it makes a large difference. Again, this is a very, very, very simple example. So you can imagine the drastic change in results in your figures for more complex calculations. But just a heads up, that will be a quiz question for Thursday, the order of operations. So remember PEMDAS. Again, I'll repeat it, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Your next video will be activity 2.1 on page 50.